So in this presentation about the beliefs that guide my teaching, I'm going to start here with a quote. The education of a small child, therefore, does not aim at preparing him for school, but for life. This is, of course, from the one and only Maria Montessori, a huge part of my teaching philosophy. I've been teaching at a Montessori school the past few years, which I will talk about in this presentation here. Over the years, I've worked with students from many different backgrounds, learning styles, students with ADHD, students on the autism spectrum, nonverbal students. I've been in a school that specialized in teaching students who struggled in regular school settings. I would say that these experiences have definitely shaped how I view education. I don't think there's one perfect way to teach, but I do believe that every student deserves an opportunity to learn in a way that is specifically meaningful to them. Schools have always served multiple purposes. I believe they exist to provide every student with a common educational foundation. Historically, this was to prepare them for an educated workforce to help our country out, but they also create opportunities that many people would not have had otherwise. I think education should help students become informed citizens who can think critically, solve problems, contribute positively to society, creating those lifelong learners that Maria Montessori likes to talk about. One of my biggest influences on my philosophy is Maria Montessori's belief in educating the whole child. This idea has always really resonated with me. I don't want my students to simply perform well in school. I want them to leave my classroom more confident, more curious, more prepared to navigate the world. To me, education should develop the whole person, not just their academic abilities, going back to that teaching the test thing that a lot of us grew up with. There is no such thing as an average student. Every learner brings different strengths, challenges, interests, experiences, all of these things into the classroom, and we need to recognize those and support those. Working with students with autism, ADHD, Tourette syndrome, learning disabilities, other exceptionalities, this reinforced my belief system here. My responsibility isn't to teach one way and hope everyone keeps up. It's to meet students where they are through scaffolding, accommodations, meaningful connections that help every student succeed. You have to learn the students. It's the most important part of being the guide in the classroom. I believe equity is one of the most important responsibilities of an educator. I am alarmed at the dismissal of programs like DEI, which encouraged equity and equality. I have always believed that fair doesn't necessarily mean identical. Students begin from different places. Good teaching recognizes those differences. Sometimes students need different supports, different assignments, or just new ways to demonstrate what they've learned. The destination is the same, but the path may look different. Equality is the thing that gives everyone the same opportunities. Equity recognizes that some students will need additional supports. The common metaphor of the wheelchair ramp. We wouldn't expect someone in a wheelchair to make it up the stairs every day. It just seems so obvious, and we're in this world right now where it seems like this is being targeted. It's very scary. One thing I've learned is that students remember what matters to them. They learn best when they feel connected to what they're learning. It's another big Montessori philosophy. That's why I try to connect history to their interests through discussions, historical simulations, board games, creative projects, and most importantly, reflections. Keeping them engaged is super important. When students are engaged, they naturally ask more questions, they make stronger connections. The discussion, bringing their peers into it, all of these things are crucial to get them to connect more with the material. So I see myself as a guide rather than simply a teacher or source of information. I don't believe in spoon feeding students every answer. My job is to provide them with the tools to think critically and solve problems independently. Sometimes that means direct instruction. I do love to give lectures, actually. I just love to talk about history. But just as often, it means facilitating those discussions or asking questions, creating experiences that allow students to take ownership of the learning and not just, rote memorization or getting my opinion on everything. Students should be active participants in their own education. The goal at the end is to create, as I said, lifelong learners. Students should ask questions, they should collaborate, they should reflect on their learning. Every assignment I do tends to have a reflection at the end of it to get students to engage with how they feel about the material. They should be curious even after they leave the classroom. They should bring it up in other subjects. They should make those connections in between their classes. They should look to each other as leaders. I want them to create this environment of learning and collaboration. My classroom is my prepared environment. This is where I am the most at home. I absolutely love my classroom. The way it's organized, everything is specific, has a purpose. It is a combination of the desk type seating around my tables, but also soft seating. They have the choice, if it is going to benefit them, to sit in a more comfortable place around the room. I love giving them that sort of choice of movement there. We combine direct instruction with a lot of discussion, Socratic seminars, historical simulations, games. I love collaborative board games that I've created. Also, having them make their own games or other creative projects, and of course, that reflection. I believe students benefit from experiencing history rather than just reading about it. Novels, though, are great, as well as films, video games. All of these help students to immerse themselves in the material. My philosophy will continue to grow throughout my career, but my goal will remain the same: to create a classroom where students feel supported, challenged, and inspired to become thoughtful, curious, and again, capable lifelong learners.